Spencer Johnson's Who Moved My Cheese is a compact yet profound parable that distills the complexities of human and organizational responses to change in a simple narrative, rich with metaphorical meaning. The story, as explained by the author through the narrative and its framing discussion, conveys universal truths about adaptability, resilience, and the psychological barriers that prevent people from thriving in dynamic environments. Below is a comprehensive explanation of the meanings embedded in the book, weaving together the story's symbolism and Johnson's intended lessons as conveyed through the characters, their actions, and the reflections of the human characters discussing the tale. The book opens with a group of former classmates at a reunion, debating how to cope with life's changes, job losses, relocations, and personal transitions. One of them, Michael, shares the story of Who Moved My Cheese, which he credits for helping him navigate a major corporate restructuring. This framing sets the stage for the parable's purpose, to offer a relatable framework for understanding and embracing change. The story itself is set in a maze, a metaphor for the complex, unpredictable environments of work and life, where individuals pursue their goals represented by cheese, a symbol for whatever one desires, such as success, wealth, relationships, or stability. Johnson emphasizes that cheese is not just a material reward but a stand-in for personal fulfillment, and its pursuit drives the characters' actions. The four characters Mice, Sniff, and Scurry, and little people Hem and Haw represent different facets of human behavior when faced with change. Sniff and Scurry embody instinctual, action-oriented responses. Sniff, true to his name, is quick to detect shifts in the environment, sensing when the cheese supply at Cheese Station C is dwindling. Scurry, his partner, is swift to act, rushing into the maze to find new cheese without overthinking. Johnson uses these mice to illustrate the power of simplicity and decisiveness. Their lack of complex emotions or overanalysis allows them to adapt quickly, unburdened by fear or attachment. The author suggests that humans can learn from this approach, sensing change early and acting promptly without being paralyzed by doubt. In contrast, Hem and Haw, the little people, represent the more complex, emotional, and intellectual responses typical of humans. Hem is the embodiment of resistance to change. When the cheese disappears, he rages, denies the reality, and insists the cheese will return, clinging to the comfort of the familiar. Johnson uses Hem to highlight how fear, entitlement, or a rigid mindset can trap individuals in denial, preventing progress. Hem's refusal to leave Cheese Station C reflects the common human tendency to hold on to outdated beliefs or situations, hoping things will revert to how they were. The author explains that Hem's behavior stems from a fear of the unknown and a sense of unfairness, which blinds him to new possibilities. Haw, meanwhile, represents the journey from resistance to acceptance. Initially, he shares Hem's shock and frustration, but gradually realizes that staying put won't bring the cheese back. Johnson uses Haw's transformation to illustrate the process of overcoming fear and embracing adaptability. Haw's pivotal moment comes when he asks himself, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" This question, emphasized by the author, is a call to action for readers to confront their fears and take risks. As Haw ventures into the maze, he scribbles lessons on the walls, which serve as Johnson's core teachings. These include: change happens. External forces will always disrupt your plans. Anticipate change. Be proactive in expecting shifts. Monitor change. Stay aware of your environment. Adapt to change quickly. The faster you move, the better. Change. Take action to move with the shift. Enjoy change. Find joy in the process of discovery. And be ready to change again. Change is constant. These maxims encapsulate Johnson's philosophy that change is inevitable, and success depends on how quickly and positively one responds. The maze itself is a powerful symbol in Johnson's narrative. It represents the unpredictable, often intimidating paths of life full of dead ends, risks, and opportunities. The author explains that navigating the maze requires courage and a willingness to explore, even when the outcome is uncertain. Haw's journey through the maze, marked by fear, hesitation, and eventual confidence, mirrors the emotional arc many experience during change. His discovery of Cheese Station N, filled with abundant new cheese, symbolizes the rewards of adaptability, new opportunities, growth, and fulfillment. Johnson underscores that the cheese at Station N isn't permanent either, reinforcing the lesson that change is cyclical and ongoing vigilance is necessary. Through the post-story discussion among the classmates, Johnson elaborates on the parable's real-world applications. The characters reflect on how the story applies to their lives' job changes, relationships, and personal growth. One sees herself as Sniff, always planning ahead. Another identifies with him, stuck in a dead-end job due to fear. Michael shares how he used the story's lessons to lead his team through a corporate merger, encouraging them to smell the cheese often, monitor their environment, and move with the cheese, adapt proactively. Johnson uses discussion to show that the parable's lessons are universal, applicable to personal, professional, and organizational contexts. He emphasizes that anticipating and adapting to change can reduce stress and lead to better outcomes, whether it's a career pivot, a new technology, or a life transition. The author also addresses the emotional barriers to change, particularly fear and complacency. Hem's anger and Ha's initial paralysis reflect how emotions can cloud judgment. Johnson explains that fear of failure or the unknown often keeps people stuck, while complacency born of past success can blind them to diminishing returns, like the dwindling cheese at Station C. Ha's breakthrough comes when he laughs at his own fears, a moment Johnson highlights as key to breaking free from self-imposed limitations. The act of laughing signifies letting go of ego and embracing humility, which allows Ha to move forward. The author suggests that readers can achieve similar breakthroughs by reframing change as an opportunity rather than a threat. Johnson's overarching message is that change is a natural part of life, and resisting it leads to stagnation, while embracing it leads to growth. He encouraged readers to adopt a mindset of curiosity and resilience, like Sniff and Scurry, and to learn from Ha's journey of overcoming fear. The book's simplicity is intentional, as Johnson aims to make the lessons accessible to all managers, employees, students, or anyone facing uncertainty. By presenting the story as a parable, he invites readers to reflect on their own cheese and maze, making the lessons personal and actionable. In essence, "Who moved my cheese?" is a call to action to stay vigilant, adaptable, and open to new possibilities. Johnson's explanations, woven through the characters' actions and the classmates' reflections, emphasize that change, while unsettling, is an opportunity for growth. The story's enduring popularity, evidenced by its millions of copies sold, and its use in corporate training, stems from its universal relevance and practical wisdom, urging readers to ask themselves, "What would I do if I weren't afraid?" and to keep moving through the maze of life.